Welcome back everyone, this is GTA Failer. In our last video we tackled the Cortez mission Guardian Angels. There are two more Cortez missions coming later in the game, but we can't access them until we pass some other missions first. Recall in Guardian Angels we watched over a deal between Cortez's friend Ricardo Diaz and the Cubans, and passing that mission unlocked Starfish Island and also unlocked Ricardo Diaz as a boss. This video is all about the first Ricardo Diaz mission. It's called The Chase. The premise of this mission is that Diaz has discovered that one of the folks working for him has been skimming off the top, stealing 3% of Ricardo Diaz's income. So the idea here is that we need to follow this thief from his apartment over to wherever his hideout is. And then in the next mission, we will head back to the hideout once we discover its location in this video and take out that thief. The reward for passing this mission is $1,000, as well as the unlocking of the next Ricardo Diaz mission. The thief in question is the leader of the gang called the Street Wannabes. This gang also existed in Vice City Stories, but in that game they were called the Sharks. I'll read a bit from the wiki about the Street Wannabes. In Vice City, they can be found around the North Point Mall and Prawn Island, but are not a threat to any other gang. They can also be seen driving their gang burrito. It is suggested that they are involved in arms smuggling and drug trafficking. They seem to be on bad terms with the bikers and Mitch Baker. We'll see a chain of missions later on in this game over on the Western Island about Mitch and the bikers. The unnamed leader of the gang betrays Ricardo Diaz and steals his shipment of drugs, causing Diaz to order Tommy Vercetti to find him and kill him and many others. The Street Wannabes in Vice City are not hostile to Tommy Vercetti or Lance Vance even after they kill their leader. They only attack the player if the player attacks the Street Wannabes. The Street Wannabes are the focus of 5 different missions here in Vice City, including this one, The Chase. Just for kicks, in the comment section below, see if you can name any of the other 4 missions in which the Street Wannabes are the target. So now that we're at the street leader's apartment, we'll go into a couple of pink markers and spook him. And I don't know why he's spooked by us. We don't have a weapon out. We're dressed gloriously in our soiree outfit, but I guess Tommy is just intimidating.
Oh, shit!
The wiki claims that the street leader is dressed differently from the rest of the wannabes, with a dragon patch on the back of the jacket and a fuchsia belt. I don't know, is he the only street wannabe that looks like that? I'm not sure. So this is a pretty cool chase across the rooftops over a couple of planks. Be careful not to fall down here. If you're pretty slow chasing the street wannabe, like I'm being intentionally here, we get this line.
Too slow, Granddad.
And that fire does hurt, so be careful. If we're fast enough, then you skip that line, and I'll show that to you in another attempt. And eventually, we got to grab some wheels and follow him. So he is picked up in a BF injection. There's this Faggio motorcycle right here that we can take and do this chase. It's kind of a long, slow chase. You don't want to get too close because they're shooting at you, and driving a Faggio with pop tires is challenging. I'm going to show you the whole chase during my challenge attempt at this mission. So I cut out most of the chase here, and this is the tail end of it over on Starfish Island. And again, we're not trying to kill this guy, we're just trying to find out where his hideout is, and it's this derelict building with all the graffiti on it. Mission passed, $1,000, and the next Diaz mission is available. So now I'll show you some fail states and some quirks. In this clip, I sprinted the entire time. Notice that we skipped the line, Too Slow Granddad, and we skipped the Street Wannabe's leader shooting those red barrels and making the fire. I like how you can see Tommy's head poking above the rooftop up there. And so in this case, I decided not to grab some wheels and not to follow him, just to show you the fail state when you lose him. And so I'll quadruple speed this little part here. And eventually, once he's far enough away, we fail. He got away. Oh, so sad. In this next clip, I'm going to look in the bedroom window, and then I'm just going to stand here, and exactly 1 minute later, we fail. He got away. Now I'm going to chase him and accidentally bump into him, which causes him to fall off the building. So it took me a moment to realize that he was no longer on my path. And so we head down, and here he is, running repeatedly into the wall. How do folks like this rise to power? This guy doesn't strike me as being the sharpest tool in the shed. So eventually I stole a police car, tried to push him towards the escape. Like, his vehicle's on this level. He doesn't need to get back on the roof. But anyway, about 60 seconds later, he got away and disappeared. In my next attempt, I took out my trusty sniper rifle and decided to kill this guy. I don't feel like chasing anymore. I've already had my cardio workout for the day. Took a few shots, but eventually we got the mission fail. You're supposed to follow him, not kill him. And he disappears. I thought this next clip was pretty interesting. I sprinted the whole time and ran right past the thief, and I was surprised that I still got this too slow granddad and the shooting of the barrels scene, even though he was way behind me. So I assume now that the game tests to see whether or not Tommy is within a certain radius of the thief, and if he's too far away from the thief, then you get that exploding barrel thing, even if Tommy is way ahead of the thief. If you get too far ahead of the thief on the rooftop, then he will just stop in his tracks. I assume he thinks he's waiting for you because you're too far away behind him, but it's the same even if you're too far away in front of him. So Tommy had to go back and wake this guy up and say, let's get this chase going, bud. Here I'm going to do some drive-buying on the vehicle, and I was surprised to see the thief fall out. The escape vehicle continues escaping without the guy who he's supposed to escape with. So I don't know what the driver of that escape vehicle is doing, but anyway, the leader, the street wannabe leader, is here. The security guards aren't happy with him, and eventually they take him down. And then I get blamed. Can't believe it. I didn't do anything. So I won't show it in this video, but if you're doing the car chase and you get too far ahead of the BF injection, then you fail for, quote, letting him get away. So in this case, I've already started the mission, but I haven't gone into the first pink marker right in front of this guy's apartment building, and I'm just showing you that there's nothing up here. No thief, no getaway car, no red barrels. So here now I have gone into the two pink markers in front of the building, but I didn't go up the stairs. I instead just got into my helicopter, and I was expecting to chase this guy on the roof, but he is just frozen in place. He wasn't expecting me to bring my helicopter at this early stage in the game. Give him a punch, and then head over here to the top of the stairs, which is apparently where the pink marker would be, but it was just invisible. Just like my helicopter, the game despawned my helicopter. All right, different attempt, and a challenge that I didn't think would be that challenging, but turned out to be a little bit of work, was to see if I could do the chase in a helicopter. So I didn't show it, but I've put my helicopter over at the nearby police station, just trying to get it off the road and in the direction that the chase is going to go. And then I ran my fastest and got off the roof before this guy did. And here's my helicopter waiting for me. And I was just hoping that this helicopter would start up and I could get moving in the direction of that BF injection before it got too far away. And I think we're good. So I'm going to skip the rest of this chase. He is shooting up at me, up at the in the sky. And if you let him shoot your helicopter too much, it will explode. But let me skip the rest of the chase and get to the end of the chase over on Starfish. So here's the end of the chase, and you can see at the kind of in the middle-ish of the screen on the ground now, the BF injection is at the safe house, but the guy's not getting out, and I was kind of surprised. He's still shooting, but he's not ending the mission, and I wondered if I had to be on the ground, and the answer is no, but I did have to be close enough to that BF injection to get the final cutscene and the mission pass. So my challenge for this mission is to pass with a 5-star wanted level the whole time, and that's going to be tough because I have to survive this long, slow chase. Take a look during this cutscene at the top of the higher stairs. You're going to see Tommy getting shot directly by the leader. You're going to see some blood coming out during this cutscene here. But notice that my health doesn't decrease, which is good. So it's just for show. You can't actually lose health during that cutscene. And you can see that I've lost about half of my health. That happened off video as I was building up my 5-star wanted level by shooting lots of folks, including police. And so during this next cutscene here, I'm going to hop onto the Faggio. And then during the cutscene, I'm going to get surrounded by all of these police officers and their FBI ranchers. This isn't fair. I can't move. And then they shoot my tire and then busted. In this next 5-star wanted attempt, I really love the way that Tommy is just going to be looking over his domain here in this cutscene, taking stock of all of the FBI ranchers and their agents. So I paused a beat on the rooftop and waited until I thought the coast was clear, but my tire is instantly popped, FBI ranchers all over the place, and same exact result. Busted. In this next attempt, I didn't even make it to the pink marker in the front of the thief's apartment building. Just busted. Come on. So here's my final attempt at my 5-star challenge. Note that I'm using a cheat code to give myself the 5 stars. In my first attempt at this challenge, I got the 5 stars legitimately by shooting lots of folks, but in all of the other attempts at this, I just used the cheat code. It was never about, conserving my health and trying not to die during this particular challenge. It was always about just avoiding getting busted. So I don't feel too bad about using the cheat code. It just saved me a little bit of time. But having low energy didn't much make a difference in this challenge. So I'm going to show you this attempt in its entirety, and this will be a good opportunity for me to do some more reading from the wiki, beginning with the trivia section on the Street Wannabes. The members of the Street Wannabes resemble the gang members in Michael Jackson's Beat It music video. The favorite radio stations of the Street Wannabes are Flash FM and Wave 103. The Street Wannabes are one of only 2 gangs that Tommy Vercetti does not perform missions for in this game. The other one is the Counterfeiting Gang. Now I'll read from the wiki about our new boss, Ricardo Diaz. He is a main character here in Vice City and also a main character in Vice City Stories. Diaz is the leader of his own drug cartel and by 1986 is the drug baron of Vice City. He's got 2 nicknames, Mr. Coke, which is what Mercedes called him in the party, and then the Bugle Master, which I don't recognize. Maybe that's a name he got in Vice City Stories. He is Colombian. He obviously lives at his mansion on Starfish Island. According to the Vice City Bureau of Investigation, he moved to the U.S. in 1978, bribing the INS for a green card. I'll skip over reading the parts about Vice City Stories, but here in Vice City, his drug habit continues and he has become far more paranoid. He sets up a number of foundations across Vice City and Latin America, although the Vice City Bureau of Investigation believe them to be a front, and they suspect him of committing 18 murders. He has also established a protection racket in the city. Concept art on the Rockstar North's website shows that the working name for Ricardo Diaz was Fernando Diaz. The 1983 film Scarface may have been an influence of Ricardo Diaz's character. Frank Lopez from that movie Scarface seems to be his main inspiration. Also, Diaz's mansion is similar to that of Tony Montana. He's the main character from Scarface, and Diaz wears exactly the same clothing as Montana during the drug deal and famous chainsaw torture scene. As I've mentioned before, we'll learn that Diaz is the person who messed up that drug deal in the very opening cutscene to this game. From the wiki, Diaz's actions in messing up that drug transaction and his men's torture of Lance in a coming mission is similar to how Frank betrayed Tony Montana. Additionally, the way Tommy and Lance kill Diaz and take his empire is similar to how Manny Rivera kills Frank for Tony taking Frank's empire. Another likely inspiration for Ricardo Diaz's character is the character El Gato from the TV show Miami Vice. Like Ricardo Diaz, El Gato is short and frequently loses his temper. He also uses a Magnum revolver as his weapon of choice. A running gag in Diaz's opening cutscenes is Diaz losing his temper, causing him to either shoot his gun or destroy various objects. In the beginning of this episode, we saw Diaz knocking his TV to the floor when the horse that he had bet on lost, threatening to have the horse's head chopped off. In this game, Ricardo Diaz appeared in the mission The Party and then Guardian Angels, where we watched over his deal with the Cubans. He is the boss for 4 missions in this game, and then he will appear in one final mission in this game called Rub Out. And then in Vice City Stories, Diaz is the boss of 5 missions. He appears in a 6th mission, and he also gives a post-mission pager message. So yeah, lots of appearances in the 2 games for Ricardo Diaz. Now I'll go back to reading from the main wiki page on Vice City. I've already read from this page many episodes ago, and the last thing I read was about the setting and influences. Perhaps the closest real-life counterpart to Vice City is the television series Miami Vice, and I read a couple of paragraphs from this settings section. But first, let me remind you that Miami Vice is a crime drama that ran from 1984 to 1989 on NBC. The 2 main characters in Miami Vice are Sonny Crockett and Ricardo Tubbs. So let's get back to the wiki. One of Vice City's primary characters, Lance Vance, is voiced by Philip Michael Thomas, who portrayed Tubbs in Miami Vice. So one of the 2 main characters in Miami Vice, that TV show, was Ricardo Tubbs, and the person who played that character in Miami Vice is the same person who does the voice of Lance Vance. So you saw I finally passed my 5-star challenge there, and now in the rest of the attempts in this video, I'm going to show you some funny things you can do with this BF injection, the getaway vehicle. So if you play your cards right, you can actually take the getaway vehicle and drive it. I didn't quite play my cards right here. You can see I yanked out the driver, the thief gets out as well, and he wants to pull me out. Now I'm in control of the vehicle at this exact moment, but then I tried making like going straight into the right up here towards the beach. And as soon as I did that right here, the game just took over. So no, that is not the planned route. And so even though I'm in the driver's seat, I am not controlling this vehicle. I could change the radio station. I guess that's cool. I'm going to skip the rest of this drive over to Starfish Island. And again, I'm still not controlling the vehicle. The thief gets out, and now I'm the only one in the vehicle. I'm trying to go forwards and backwards and turn the wheels left and right. Nothing happens. Then if I get out of the car, I can actually control the vehicle after I get back in. So now it behaves as normal, except this vehicle is anything but normal. This vehicle has two special properties, although maybe they're related to each other. It is incredibly heavy, and it is also waterproof. So we're going to head into the water over here. And unlike the other vehicles, which kind of float near the surface of the water, this one sinks. And you'll notice that my health number is not decreasing. I should be drowning right now because I'm underwater, but I will get below the lowest depth limit and then get teleported onto this bridge on the wrong side of the barrier. So here's yet another way to get over to the Western Island early. Pretty cool. So my best guess as to why the programmers gave the BF injection this heavy property is so that when it goes along its escape path, it just blasts right through any vehicles that are in its way. Because you don't want the BF injection to get stuck on that path and soft lock the game. So they give it extra weight so that it can just plow through any vehicles in the way. Maybe the waterproofness is just some function of the extra weight property. I don't know that they're necessarily distinct. So here's another way to not quite get control of the car. You really want to pull over to the side to block the driver's side door so that when the thief gets in, he doesn't pull you out. Here's an example of the heaviness of the BF injection as it absolutely wrecks that moonbeam coming in the opposite direction. In this next attempt, I also didn't quite do it right. Watch very carefully. I'm going to steal the car and then drive up against that wall so it's blocking the driver's side door. But watch the thief as he gets in on the passenger side and then kind of sits on my lap. Like I won't even be visible once he switches over to the driver's seat. And again, I'm not in control of this vehicle. So I skip the long drive over and he gets out of the car and I'm looking around like, where am I? I can change camera angles. Like I'm in the car. I can move the camera around as if I was in the car. I can't drive it. We've seen that before. Where's poor Tommy? I think I just have to get out. There I am. Okay, and for my next trick. So the wiki says that there's a fail state if you destroy the BF injection before it gets over to Starfish Island. So that's what I'm attempting to do here. So I steal it with no plans of having either of those fools get back in. We'll take out our precious minigun. And then take a look at how quickly the thief comes up with plan B. He sees this green manana, carjacks it, and then makes a U-turn. He's not even going on his normal path, this like real roundabout way to get over to Starfish. He is on the shortest distance path between the starting point and Starfish Island. This is nuts. I had no idea that the thief could find this path. So I'll quadruple speed it. Fortunately, I didn't lose him. I was just running and he wasn't driving very fast. Found a Phoenix, tried to bump into him a little bit. Didn't really seem to have much effect. And yeah, he very quickly and efficiently drove himself to the safe house. Mission passed. So here's my final attempt at this. My challenge was just to be able to do the speed strat, which is to take the car and drive the thief yourself. So you can't have him take over control of the car. So yeah, I think the key is just to be moving a little bit when he's getting into the vehicle. The nice thing about driving is that I can drive more aggressively than the getaway driver, and also I can take the shortest path. I don't have to take that circuitous route that they always take. So, yeah, much quicker to drive yourself, given that we know where they're supposed to go. I'll point out that the heavy and waterproof properties of this BF injection stay if you pay and spray the BF injection, but they disappear as soon as you put the BF injection into a garage and have that garage door close. I'll also point out that the health of the BF injection seems to be quite a bit lower than the health of a normal BF injection. Maybe that's a consequence of the physics of the heavy property, but in any event, you got to really take care of this thing because it's easy to light it on fire once you're driving it around. So that's my official mission pass. I'm going to save it right here, which is not the mission location start for the next video because I'm going to play around with the heavy BF injections that I got in this video. And that's basically what I'm going to do for the rest of this video is playing around with the BF injection. But just remember that I saved the game right there outside of that graffiti house because after I've had my fun with these special BF injections, we're going to reload that save state and then continue our official gameplay from that spot. For the most part, what I'll be doing with these heavy BF injections is driving them into the water in various places, trying to drive underwater if I can find solid land under there, just kind of giving you some views of Vice City that hopefully you've never had before. In the meantime, let me go back to reading from the main Vice City wiki page. Specifically, we're thinking about the influence that the TV show Miami Vice had on the creation of Vice City. And right now we're talking about Lance Vance in this game, voiced by the same actor who voices one of the two main characters in Miami Vice, specifically Ricardo Tubbs. Vance's initial goal in this game, to avenge the death of his brother in a drug deal gone wrong, mirrors Tubbs' objective in the show's pilot episode. Several vehicles and weapons in Vice City are also taken from the TV series, including the Squallow, which was Sonny Crockett's speedboat, the Stinger, which was Crockett's Ferrari Daytona, the Marquis, which was Crockett's sailing yacht, the Infernus, the Katana, which was featured during the climax of the episode Bushido, the stubby shotgun, which was Tubbs' signature weapon in the later seasons of the show, and the MAC-10, a weapon smuggled in the episode called Evan. Two of the antagonists of Vice City share their first names with the two main characters of Miami Vice. So remember, Ricardo Tubbs is one of the main characters in Miami Vice, and Ricardo Diaz is one of the main characters here in Vice City, responsible for the botched drug deal. The other main character from Miami Vice is Sonny Crockett, who shares a first name with Sonny Forelli, the main antagonist in this game, the person responsible for setting Tommy up and making him serve 15 years in prison. Other more subtle references to Miami Vice also appear in Vice City. For example, during the opening credits sequence, which I talked about in the very first episode of this series, one of the stylized images that appears framing the in-game footage is actually just a screenshot from the Miami Vice episode Bought and Paid For, which shows one of the characters in Miami Vice's Lamborghini Countach being chased by Crockett's Daytona. The attire worn by the Cuban and Haitian gangs in the game is taken from two prominent extras in a scene at Miami International Airport in the pilot episode of Miami Vice. The game's hidden packages, which are small green tiki statues packed with cocaine, are a reference to the episode Milk Run, in which cocaine is smuggled in an identical fashion. Another significant influence on Vice City is the 1983 film Scarface, starring Al Pacino as Tony Montana. Several in-game locations, such as the mansion that becomes the Vercetti estate and the Malibu Club, are obviously styled after locations featured in the movie. Elsewhere in the city, there is a hidden apartment containing a chainsaw within a blood-stained bathroom, a nod to Scarface's infamous chainsaw dismemberment scene. The game's final mission mirrors the end of the movie. In both instances, the main character is assaulted by an army of goons at their mansion, leading to a large shootout. The Mr. Vercetti outfit available from the Pole Position Club strongly resembles an outfit worn by Tony Montana, and even Tommy Vercetti himself takes many character traits from Al Pacino's character, specifically his short temper, his heavy dealings in the cocaine trade, and his desire to rise to the top. It is also worth noting that the radio station Flashback FM from GTA 3 exclusively features songs written for the Scarface soundtrack. The developers acknowledged the film as being a major influence on the overall rise to criminal power theme of that game, and the soundtrack was included as an homage. Other references and influences on Vice City include the following: Carlito's Way. Ken Rosenberg, Tommy Vercetti's lawyer and advisor, is modeled after Sean Penn's lawyer character from the movie, both in terms of physical appearance and personality. To Live and Die in LA. Later in the game, there's a money counterfeiting scheme based on the movie. A song from the movie's soundtrack, specifically Dance Hall Days by Wang Chung, is also included on the in-game radio. Red Dawn, the 1984 movie about a fictional Soviet invasion of the United States, is labeled a, quote, documentary in an ammunition radio advertisement parodying American attitudes towards communism in the 1980s. Rambo First Blood Part 2. The fictitious film Exploder Evacuator Part 2, an advertisement for which is heard on the in-game radio, is an obvious play on the 1985 First Blood sequel's convoluted title. The Village People. A builder, a police officer, a soldier, a firefighter, and a biker can be seen dancing on stage in the Malibu Club. Cars associated with 1980s pop culture. Many of the game's vehicles are reproductions of popular or famous vehicles from the time, such as the Deluxo, which is a nod to the DeLorean DMC-12 from Back to the Future, and the Burrito, a reference to the A-Team's van. Pablo Escobar, the city's airport is named after the notorious Colombian drug dealer. Hair metal, as well as the rock/metal station V-Rock, the fictitious band Love Fist parodies several cliches of glam metal bands in the 1980s, such as Spinal Tap and Motley Crue. Now I'll read a few elements from the trivia section on the main Vice City wiki page. According to Laszlo Jones, Rockstar began working on Vice City only 1 month after the release of GTA 3. In an episode of the Fox TV show Family Guy, Peter suffers from amnesia and is told by Lois to try playing Grand Theft Auto to help. The logo seen on the game tape is that of GTA Vice City. Some Vice City posters have appeared in the Black Eyed Peas music video for the song Where Is the Love? On the box art for the game, there's a helicopter in the upper left corner that was never featured in-game. It appears to be a Maverick that features 2 machine guns on its front. Vice City is the first game in the series to use the F word. It can be seen on a poster in Phil Cassidy's trailer. Now I'll read from the wiki page on beta content for this game. Before the release of Vice City, there were features that were removed from the final product. These changes range from deleted vehicles and player skins to the removal of entire characters and mission strands. First, we'll talk about changes to characters. Tommy Vercetti originally wore a dark blue Hawaiian shirt and his face was different. His running and walking animations were also changed. Ricardo Diaz's original name was Fernando Diaz. Cam Jones's original name was Mike Jones. Remnants of this can be seen for his in-game models' file names. BJ Smith's original name was BJ Jones. Pastor Richards and Donald Love originally had bigger roles in the game. Lance Vance originally wore a purple suit and black undershirt according to artwork. Kent Paul originally had a totally different model according to leftover files. Ken Rosenberg originally wore a light pink suit and a yellow undershirt according to leftover files. Sonny Forelli originally wore a light pink suit and a black undershirt with dark glasses as seen from the artwork. Avery Carrington was originally called Sergio. And finally, Mr. Moffat was scheduled to be a character in Vice City but was dropped during development for unknown reasons. Moffat and Tommy Vercetti know each other from the past, and Moffat has found himself on the run again from the police in Vice City. Moffat was supposed to appear in a mission where Tommy would help him escape from cops that were after him. The name of the mission looks like it's called Hello Moffat, and there's a script here, so I'm going to go ahead and bust out my acting chops as I totally bring to life the well-known Tommy Vercetti and the unknown Mr. Moffat. Vercetti, damn you, man, you've got to help me. Mr. Moffat, how's family life? Damn you to hell, do you hear me? Well, it was nice chatting. Wait, Vercetti, Tommy. Can I call you Tommy? We're both businessmen, yeah? You know a good deal when you hear one, okay? I don't have the time to chat, get to the point. Money is the goddamn point. I've escaped the coop again, but it's never long before they track me down. They think it's a damned game. I'm at a payphone somewhere in this godforsaken shithole. Get me out of here before they take me back and oh, God. Well, I'm busy for the next... No, don't shit with me here. Have a heart. No man should have to do such things. I'm on my knees here, Tommy, in the dirt, begging for you, please. I guess I could swing by that way, see if I can spot you. Oh, God, they're coming, for the love of Christ. Hurry. Mr. Moffat shares his last name with the mother of Rockstar Games founders Sam and Dan Hauser. Moving on to beta vehicles, which are vehicles that can be seen in pre-release screenshots, videos, or other promotional materials for a game, but do not appear in the final version of that game. This category can also be used to describe vehicles found in the game's internal files, but are not set to spawn anywhere and are otherwise unobtainable unless the player uses mods or hacks. A new helicopter named the Coast Guard Maverick was meant to appear in Vice City and was probably used by the Coast Guard but was cut during development. The model and the in-game name remain in the game files, and it was probably replaced by the VCN Maverick, as it is called Coast Mav in the game files. The Dodo was meant to appear in Vice City but was cut during development. This is evidenced in the handling file, possibly replaced by the Skimmer or a leftover from GTA 3. The Kuruma from GTA 3 was going to be included in Vice City, but it was cut during development. The Toys van from GTA 3 was to be included, but it was cut and replaced by the Top Fun van. A civilian version of the Patriot was meant to appear, but it was reworked into an Army Patriot. So thanks for sticking with me all the way to the end. I hope you enjoyed exploring the underwater scenery of Vice City. If you have any thoughts, any memories about this mission, the chase, please leave them in the comments. We're going to save right here and pick up next time with the next Diaz mission. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you real soon.